Hello and welcome back. On the last episode we finally got to the Make 10 game. The rules have been explained and we're about to begin playing really. Four people have claimed the two numbers 2 and 3 who can work with us. So I'm a bit cautious about who's telling the truth and who's not. I don't believe the twins, honestly, because I mean they've got more. I believe the captain when she says that they're more selfishly focused, especially when they've got the only occupation on board that has 2 members. Yeah, and the cook and navigation lady they seem nice. Yeah. So one of those pairs is telling a lie, and I'm pretty sure it's the twins that are lying. Anyway, Di ushered us into the hallway. Suddenly, all pretense fell away as alliances grouped together publicly to finalize their strategies. Kimiko and Yoshiki, Nicholas and Beatrix. Oh yeah, the captain was Kimiko, wasn't it? Shizuka and Katashi, Vladimir, Sora, and Melody. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, and we're the odd one out. We're 10 because we're 5. So now I was there, standing alone. I needed to decide on who I was going to pair up with, and fast. The group decided. The group stood staggered and clustered down the length of the hallway, all keeping a watchful eye on the door to the dining hall. None seemed willing to make the first move. Abruptly, Kimiko and Yoshiki broke off from the others and approached the hologram guarding the dining hall.
Yoshiki and I would like to use a transaction terminals die.
So they're making the first move. Fair enough, the captain leads.
Very well. This way, please.
As soon as the two of them entered the dining hall, the door slid shut behind them. The audible click of the door locking mechanism conveyed a clear message, and the rest of the crew were not allowed to enter under any circumstances. Everyone else was trying to finish their arrangements as quickly as possible. The longer you waited in this game, the more likely the other players were going to partner up or swap with someone else. That was it, the moment of truth. I decided to sacrifice yourself, do nothing and hope for the best. Pair up with Katashi and Shizuka, or pair up with Nicholas and Beatrix. Am I able to save? I should. Well, that's yeah. So yeah, we'll sacrifice ourselves, cut back here, and then we'll be able to yeah. We'll see what happens. So basically, sacrifice ourselves. It slowly dawned on me that I'd be preoccupied with all the petty squabbling and the uncertainty of whether or not I would trust the right person. I never considered alternate possibilities. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did, I knew in my heart that I would never truly fit in on the Everett. These people had years of history together, and all I had were rusty social skills and a fragile hope that they would accept me, a hope that was crumbling with every passing minute. I was not one of them. The weary glances in the hall, the way their voices fell to a hush when I drew near. I felt a keen ache in my heart as I realized that these people, these strangers, would never be able to fill the void inside. They filled the void inside me that begged for companionship and closeness. It would be better for everyone if I just ended it now. Sacrifice myself would give them another week of peace. It would be neither missed. I would be neither missed nor mourned. Better me than someone that actually mattered, right? I needed help from someone in order to complete my plan. I approached the only person I thought would understand, Sora, the navigations officer. Vladimir and Sora stood huddled around a wide-eyed Melody, cushioning her from the surrounding chaos. She smiled as I approached. Their circle with a little wave in my hand. Hello.
Hello. Melody, say hello.
Hello.
Hey Melody, is there any chance I could steal your mum for a moment? I could use some advice about this whole situation.
Of course. It must be difficult for you, not really knowing anyone here.
Well, about that. Yeah, well, that's what I'd like to talk about. Sora and I walked a little way down the hall, far enough away from the others I could speak freely without the fear of being overheard.
What's on your mind?
I'd hate to ask, but I need you to do me a favour. Please, you're the only one who can, on this whole ship, that I trust.
What do you need me to do?
I took a deep breath to calm myself before replying. I need to give you my card.
What? Why would you do that?
Sora's sharp explanation and panicked expression drew the scrutiny of everyone in the hallway. Vladimir looked practically concerned. She repeated her question, this time in a whisper.
What? Why would you do that?
It sounds exactly the same. Because I don't belong here. I've never felt so alone in my entire life. No one here will accept me. I don't want to live my life as an outsider.
Give them time. They'll come around.
We don't exactly have time. It's not just that. I'm the cause of this whole ridiculous game to begin with. It's my fault, so I should be the one to pay the price. I know that with my death, that my death probably won't stop the Deletion Game, but at the very least, I can try to atone for the pain I've caused. Please, I'm begging you. Let me do this.
Okay. I'll help. I wish it didn't have to be this way. Just give me a moment to get rid of the old Ruski so we can go in unseen.
Ruski?
Vladimir knows that I have no reason to go in, and I don't want to worry him.
Are you number 10? Sora joined her family, pointed down the hallway and gave her husband a kiss on the cheek. Vladimir bent down and to allow Melody to climb up onto his shoulders. From her perch atop her dad's shoulders, Melody reached up and touched the ceiling as the two of them headed off down the hallway.
There. All done.
Hooray!
Let's do it before they get back. Dai, we wish to use the transaction terminals.
You have 10 minutes to complete the transaction, at which time you will be forcibly removed from the dining room.
Okay, 10 minutes. We entered the room, Sora moved to the primary terminal. You went to the primary terminal? I have to be at the primary terminal to give you my card.
No, there's also a take button here. I'd rather not give you control over the primary terminal in case you try to steal my card from me. You understand, right? It's just a precaution.
No, that's a lie. Oh no, that's fine. I didn't realize there was a take button. No, there isn't. I placed my hand down on the terminal while racking my brain, trying to recall Dai's explanation in the primary terminal.
Could we hurry this up? I want to get out of here before Vladimir knows.
No. Sorry. The sensation of placing my hand on something that wasn't physically there felt very surreal. But I'd been expecting to feel the slight electric vibration when I placed my palm against the surface, but there was nothing there. My terminal beeped as my handprint verified my own. The terminal changed to display my name and card number LOD5. On the screen, I saw the word give light up. What are you doing?
Congratulations! Your transaction has been completed. Judgment will occur in 12
What are you,
minutes.
Sora? What have you done? I didn't know like choosing this would kill you. What did you do? What did you do? Sora gave me a sweet smile.
I gave you my card.
Why? Yeah, why?
I lied. There is no take button. I'm actually surprised you fell for that. After all, your parents were geniuses.
Ouch! You're just calling us stupid. But the thing is, though, why did we fall for that? We knew it wasn't in the rules. Why the hell would you give me a card? I wanted to sacrifice myself. You don't understand. This was my chance of redemption. Sora was withdrawn.
Listen here. I may not know you all that well, but I did know your parents. They were the most brilliant people I've ever met. And I've met a lot more people than you. Do I care? I'm not my parents, I'm me. If you're even half as smart as they were, you're the key to ending this nightmare.
Well, clearly not. If we just fell for, there's a take button. I can't. This is all my fault. You should have just let me die.
Don't you dare give me that nonsense, young man. If you really, truly believe that this is your fault, then you have a duty to do everything in your power to stop it.
This lady. Sora paused, her face softened into a compassionate smile.
Your life is only just starting. You have so much more to offer this ship, this mission, more than you could possibly realize. I owe it to your parents to give you that opportunity. And I owe it to my daughter to give her the best chance of survival.
Without her parents.
I make this sacrifice in exchange for a promise. Save her. Save my daughter from this hell.
I mean,
Please.
you're gonna have to now, because you did this. Sora restrained a sob.
Please. Please.
Why would you do this? I promise I'll do everything in my power to save her. You... Ooh, Sora. Good. Tears welled up in Sora's eyes at my words. In that moment, I finally realized my purpose aboard the Everett. I had to stop the deprived game at any cost.
Thank you.
What do you mean at any cost?
Thank you.
Clearly, it's at the cost of Sora's card. Meaning she's at a 0, which means she'll... God. Sora closed the distance between us and wrapped her arms around me in a fierce hug. She buried her head into my shoulders, whispering thank you all the while. There were no words that could probably express my gratitude at that moment, so I wordlessly hugged her back, just as tightly. Sora squeezed me one last time before letting go. She paused for a moment and wiped her eyes and took a deep breath to compose herself before heading back out. Having done so, she strode through the dining hall door with as much as usual cheerful as she could muster. Ah, Sora.
Extra, extra! Be sharp, sing on rooftop. Attention, attention. This round of the Deletion Game has come to an end. All participants are to meet in the dining room at once.
Why? As I was thundered throughout the ship, I froze. The moment we'd all been dreading had finally arrived.
You'd all better hurry. I'm not going to wait to announce the results, you know.
I closed my eyes, inhaled and exhaled deeply, and I was ready as I would ever be.
It's judgment time, everyone. If you'll all take a look up here, I've created a handy holographic scoreboard for your viewing convenience. You can thank me later.
Okay,
In a minute, this board will display everyone's final results. Keep in mind, the numbers of each individual player in a group will not be displayed, only their combined scores.
Okay.
After all, what's done is done.
My heart was pounding so hard against the inside of my chest that that it threatened to burst into pieces at any moment. Shallow, rapid breaths were all I could muster as I clenched my eyes shut, horrified to see my fate sealed in glowing letters and numbers.
Ooh, I'm just so excited for you all to find out the results. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Melody has 10. Yoshiki... Oh no, okay. Well, I didn't even...
What is the meaning of this, Dai? You got our scores wrong. Why else would my wife have 0? Tell me this instant.
Vladimir stole... I didn't read what it said, but Melody had 10 on her own, so she has the 10, that's good. Yoshiki and the captain had 10. But yeah, that went way too fast. I couldn't see what it was. Vladimir was stoned up at the hologram, demanding an explanation. His once-kind face was distorted with rage, a crimson colour crawling up his neck as he hurled a string of expletives at Dai.
Hush now, love. Let me explain.
Mommy, what's going on? Why is Daddy yelling?
Well, that's also a thing. Vladimir's not going to...
Everything's fine, sweetheart.
Oh God, this can't be happening. Not again. I won't let you take the person I love away from me.
What do you mean, not again?
You'll have to take me apart piece by piece before I let you touch a hair on this woman's head.
How dare you accuse me of cheating? You must play by the rules, human, and so must I.
Okay, that's key.
It's not wrong, Vladimir. Please, honey, don't do this in front of Melody.
Who did this? Did one of you trick her into doing this? I can't strangle the hologram, but I can still bloody well strangle one of you lot.
Yeah, well, I'd have to come out and say that was me, because, you know... Vladimir whipped around to the room like a hurricane, threatening pain to everyone in the room.
Vladimir, stop, please.
Please don't tell me this is true. This can't be true. I can't lose you.
All eyes were fixed on Vladimir. His fury gradually subsided under the soothing influence of Sora's calming voice and tender careness.
I'm so sorry.
Caresses, sorry.
Why?
His voice quivered, cracking slightly. It was a hurt voice, the voice of a broken man.
Why would you do this to me? To Melody?
Exactly. For some reason, she put me above a family.
I did this for you. For Melody. And for what's left of the human race.
Clearly you did not.
When we signed up for this mission, all those many years ago, we agreed that we would do whatever it took for this mission to succeed.
Really?
After what happened to Charles, to your wife Amanda, to our friends, I never thought I'd be able to recover.
Oh yeah, so that's why you had different last names. Okay.
Then one day, you made me the worst lamington I'd ever eaten. And then, all at once, I saw you clearly.
Okay.
Between the late night poker sessions and you letting me steal your chocolate rations, I realized that I loved you. And that I loved you for some time.
1, there's chocolate on the ship, and 2, you guys play poker. Nice. Also, not the time. That's a bit inappropriate of me to focus on those two things.
But that doesn't change the mission.
I don't care about the mission.
Yes, you do. That's just the disbelief talking. You know that we still have a duty to this ship. That this is bigger than you or I. That's why I did it. I'm the most replaceable crew member.
Aren't you the navigations officer?
I've passed on everything I know to Shizuka. But you still have a job to do.
Oh, okay.
Our little Melody. She's going to be a scientist, just like her father. And she'll pass down that knowledge to her children. And they'll do the same to theirs.
Okay.
You're still necessary to this mission, my love.
I can't do this without you. Please, don't do this.
So, well, now we're gonna have to... Well, we're gonna have to console Vladimir, but I feel like if he finds out, he will kill us. Is that gonna be one of the endings?
You can. You will. For Melody's sake.
Vladimir wrapped his arms around his wife and hugged her close to him. In a tender embrace, Vladimir conveyed the depth of his love for his wife in the way it transcended all words. He clung to her so closely, so desperately, that it was painful to watch. It was impossible to shake the sensation that we were intruding on an intensely personal moment. Of course we are, but we don't really have that choice.
Mommy, what's going on?
And now we have to explain it to the child. How old is she? 5? 3? Sora scoped, scoped. Pulling out a rifle from nowhere and aiming it at your child immediately. It's quite... I don't know why it's funny to me, but in the cartoonish fashion. Sora scooped Melody up in her arms, bringing her rest of her up to her hip.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. I have to go away. But Daddy will be here to take care of you and keep you safe. Okay?
You expect her to be a scientist, but you won't explain death?
I don't want you to go.
I know it's going to be difficult, sweetie. But I'm sure that one day you'll understand.
Aw, aren't you guys just the cutest? But that's enough of that. Time is money, people. It's time to spin the wheel of fatality. Woo!
Okay, and spinning wheels, nice. That's always the best way to decide things. That and dice. With a flourish, Die conjured a sizable holographic wheel, split up into labelled sections. I barely managed to read them all before Die passed judgment. Gravity, airlock, oxygen, incineration, a spacewalk. Each one sounded more ominous than the last. Within seconds, Die gave up the wheel a hefty spin, and the section of the wheel blurred into another. My eyes were fixed on the wheel as it gradually slowed, ticking its way to a standstill as the arrow circled the dial, finally coming to rest on...
Incineration.
Oh boy.
No time like the present. Let's head on down to the furnace room, shall we?
We have a room designated to this?
Can't I just have a few more minutes with my family?
No. Move it, sister. Everyone, follow me. As you'll remember from last time, attendance at executions is mandatory for all players participating in the Deletion Game. Come along now.
But I'm participating and I missed the first one, I think. Unless I was just unconscious for it.
I will not allow Melody to watch. I absolutely refuse.
I must agree, Dai. Subjecting a child to the demise of a family member is unbelievably cruel.
Di spat out her answer through gritted teeth on a placid smile.
Melody is a participant, just like you. I won't bend the rules merely because she's shorter than the rest of you.
Haha, she's not younger, she's shorter. Problem solved.
She's a child.
She's a member of this crew.
Is she?
Now, feel free to continue arguing with me. But for every second you push the issue, I'll be decreasing the amount of oxygen flowing into this room.
Okay, cool.
This is low, Dai. Even for you. Fine. We'll do it your way. It seems we have no choice in the matter.
And here I thought a little CO2 poisoning might improve your personality. Maybe next time, eh, Captain?
Right. The march to the furnace room was grueling. I've never seen a person die before. Like any reasonable person, it wasn't something I'd ever thought I'd have to see. My stomach revolted at the prospect, and my mind felt completely numb. I couldn't even imagine that Sora was going through right now. Sora set a slow pace to the furnace room, dragging out the precious time she had left to spend with her family. The sound of Melody, uncontrollable sobbing, was the only sound that echoed throughout the bowels of the ship as we delved deeper into than I'd ever ventured before. As we filled into the furnace room, the ambient temperature rose with every passing step, and I slowly became aware of the gentle crackling of flames. The cavernous room was dominated by the raging fire of the furnace itself, held at bay by a thick pane of reinforced glass. As the last of our group crossed the threshold, the door shut behind us, and with a resounding thud. Even on this side of the glass, the heat radiating from the furnace was overwhelming. Although it was a maintenance access panel located on the chute emerging from the top of the furnace, this occasion clearly warranted the use of the hinged door cut across the glass, cut into the grass.
Here we are, Sora, for losing round 2 of the Deletion Game. You've been sentenced to death by incineration. I must insist that you enter the furnace immediately. No one goes out until she goes in and gets a little singed.
Okay.
Company? Fall in!
Everyone except Melody and Velemir immediately formed a regimented line and raised their hands to their salute position. I tried to mimic their actions as best I could.
Navigation Officer Sora Carmine. You have served honorably aboard the Everett, and your many contributions to this mission have been indispensable.
It's unfortunate.
Your love and compassion for your fellow crew members have made this ship a better place to live.
Yeah, and now we're going to lose that compassion, aren't we?
You will be greatly missed.
Definitely.
Company, salute.
The entire line saluted in unison. Sora smiled with incredibly sweet. She stood up straight and meaningfully locked eyes with each of us before returning to the salute of her own.
It's been a privilege being able to serve alongside such fine men and women. Godspeed, friends.
Sora,
You don't have to say a word. I already know.
Okay, then she's psychic. Again, more comments I shouldn't be saying at this time. Sora and Vladimir shared a deep, lingering kiss.
Goodbye, my love.
In you go, Sora. Clock's the ticking.
Sora crouched down face to face with Melody, who was clutching her father's lab coat tight in her fist. Melody's face was lined with tears, which continued to flow freely.
Now, Melody, I need you to do something for me, sweetheart. When I step in there, I need you to close your eyes and not open them, no matter what. Do you understand? Don't open your eyes, sweetie.
I feel like she's just gonna do that anyway.
Okay.
Listen to your father. Be a good girl. Love without measure.
Never heard that saying
I
before.
love you, Melody. You're the light of my life. And I hope that one day you'll understand and be able to forgive me. Always remember that I love you. Always.
Sora hugged her daughter one final time, kissed her on the forehead, and forced a smile and stood up.
I'm ready, Di.
About time.
Okay. Caught me off guard a bit. I could feel the searing heat on my skin as Sora opened the door to the furnace and stepped inside, shutting the door behind her.
Mommy, don't!
Okay. Then Melody rushed towards the glass and banging her hands against it in desperation, as if it had only just struck her what was about to happen. That's... Well, at least she knows what danger is. The blaze licked at Sora's ankles as she bent down and smiled confidently.
It's okay, sweetie. Everything will be fine. Close your eyes, honey.
Come back!
Melody stood dejected. Tears cascaded down her cheeks onto the floor as she stood watching her mother nimbly. Isn't she supposed to have her eyes closed? The tongues of the flame had begun to blacken the navigator's uniform, causing violent blistering and welts to break out on her exposed skin.
Close your eyes. Melody, close your eyes. Vladimir, make her close her eyes. Please.
Vladimir bent down and forced Melody to turn away from her burning mother's visage. Smoke poured off Sora's scorching body. Animalistic howls wrecked her body as she shrieked, unable to bear the pain any longer.
Melody, honey, look at Daddy. It's okay, honey.
The last thing I saw was Vladimir pulling Melody into a hug, holding her head so that she couldn't turn to look at her mother, whose charred skin was starting to slush out from the muscle. Thank you for not showing that. I clamped my eyes shut, sickened at the sight of her gruesome death. Even with my eyes shut, my imagination ran riot at the viscera. Viscera. The visceral thump reverberating through the room. The putrid smell of burning human hair and flesh pushed me over the edge, causing me to gag. Cold air whooshed in behind me as the doors finally opened. I opened my eyes and scrambled towards the exit as fast as my legs could carry me. We all spread out in the corridor, eager to let some breathing room after a horrific execution we'd just witnessed. Beatrix and Nicholas held each other for emotional support. Shizuka knelt nearby, her body racked by irregular spasms, holding down the contents of her stomach through sheer force of will. But Vladimir, even though his face remained drawn and his eyes were bright red from crying, he was still doing his best to hold it together for Melody. No matter how hard Vladimir tried to comfort Melody, however, she remained inconsolable, screaming and thrashing her arms in a futile protest against her mother's cruel fate. One by one, we left the two of them alone, unable to endure the sight of the anguish any longer. As we left the area, a voice taunted us through the intercom.
The next round of the Deletion Game begins in 24 hours. Sweet dreams, everyone.
In a day? Chapter 1. I couldn't sleep. I lay awake staring at the ceiling. My stomach unsettled by all the too recent exposure to the stench of burning flesh. What made it even worse was that this was all my fault. It was. If I was never brought aboard the ship, Dai's deadly failsafe measure would never have been activated. Sora would still be alive, Melody would still have a mother, and Vladimir would have a wife. My stomach churned at the image of Sora. It popped it back into my head. I tried my best to forget those gruesome images and replace them with a soft smile I just saw days ago while eating lunch with her. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't escape the sobering reality of the situation. Sora was dead, silence filled the room of what felt like an eternity. Suddenly, I appeared next to the bed, her head hunked low.
This is my fault.
My thoughts exactly. As in, like, myself, I guess. But yeah, her eyes reflected sadness, how I never thought a computer program would be capable of feeling. With this, we'll see what goes on the next time. So yeah, why not? We're at the time, but so thank you for stopping by, and hopefully you had fun, and I can see you on the next one. With that, goodbye.